How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Dude Ranch DIY. My name is Jake, and I got a new job. And today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. So, to be brutally honest, I didn't get a totally new job. I still do tree work every day for the local municipality, same as I always have for about, well, actually, today's my 9-year anniversary of my hire date. So I've been there about 9 years. Love that job, but like I said, it's working for a municipality, which is different than doing, private sector tree work. Recently, about this is my 4th month now, 4 months ago, I got hired on with my town that I actually live in, which is different than my regular, day-to-day job, to be my local town's tree warden. And the tree warden is an interesting position. It varies from town to town. Some towns have them, other towns don't. How they, orchestrate it can vary. In my personal town, in my case, I am a contractor of the town, to which I have to carry my own insurance and licensing and stuff like that. And they basically hire me to go out and assess the risk of trees that are found on town property. So as a homeowner, if you have a tree that you think might fall within the town's right of way, and every property kind of varies a little bit, and every town's regulations and rules vary a little bit, but if you think you have a tree that might fall on town property, and you have a concern with it, then that resident would then go online or call town hall, to which a service request would be created, and then I am the guy that goes out to then assess that tree and determine whether or not something needs to be done. And whether something needs to be done, that can be completely removing the tree if it's totally dead or at risk of falling or injuring somebody, pruning it, or nothing at all. So that is basically another side gig, as if I needed anything else going on in my life, that I've recently taken on, and I've been enjoying it. It gets me out and about in town, learning all the roads, seeing different parts of our beautiful town, and engaging with the residents a little bit. And it also, helps me keep my skills sharp on a day-to-day basis, whether it's tree identification or just, tree risk assessment, looking at different diseases and fungus, whether it's, insects that might cause an infestation or a particular, disease that's going around for a certain species of trees. So that is, in a nutshell, what the tree warden position entails. And today, in this video, I'm going to take you out. We got about 8 stops today to make, all around town for varying reasons. And I'm going to show you what I do at each of those stops and, how I come to the conclusions that I come to. And I'm sure we'll get a little bit more in depth as we go along. Okay, so before we get too far into this, I thought I would show you my Excel spreadsheet. As you can see here, I have all different listings of service requests that have come in over the past couple years. Red are ones that I still need to inspect, as denoted by that column. You can see I have a quick little drop-down menu. Needs assignment, needs inspection, in progress, and complete. So I can, change all of, those settings. Yellow are ones that I have already given to our contractor. It's a third-party, subcontractor tree company that does all the work. Then we have green ones that are fully complete, and the white ones are certain work orders that still need to be assigned to the tree contractor. So today we're going to be going out and we're going to be looking at all of these red ones, and I will take you along for the ride. Now, another pretty cool thing that I figured out is that it's a lot of driving around all over town. As you can see, there are my 8 different stops, and it can be a lot of time and fuel if you're backtracking a lot. So there's this pretty cool app called Plan My Route, and you can put in all your different stops that you have, and it will optimize the route so that you're backtracking less. It's not 100% foolproof just based on where some of the addresses are, but it will give you the most time and fuel distance efficient route to go ahead and complete your route. So we're going to hold to start the route, and it's going to plan it. and it's going to be taking us to this first address, 56 Maplewood Drive. All right, guys, so we just got to this first property, and I actually had to meet with the homeowner. It was over determining whether or not certain trees were on his property or on town property. I pulled up our GIS mapping, and basically he wanted to take down a tree right there and a tree right there. And the stone wall on that side of his property is the property line. So he is basically free to do whatever he wants over on that side because they are not on town property. He also was inquiring about this pine tree, which is also on his property. So that first one was pretty easy. Met with him. He was happy to hear that I gave him the approval, even though I didn't even really need to because they were on his own property. So I came into my list right here and marked this work order as complete. And I, made note that I met with him and, let him know that he is free to do whatever he wants. Okay, so now we're gonna use this nifty app to navigate to the next one. And just like that, it is only 0.4 miles away, which is super convenient. So we're gonna spin around and head over to the next work order. Okay, so we were just driving to that second job and I noticed this tree standing right here. As you can see, it is pretty dead. It is totally dead, and it is pretty close to the road. Just pulled up the map. It is in fact on town property. So one of my other jobs is to actually go out and cruise the roads and make note of trees that need to come down, despite the fact that they may have not been reported by the homeowner. So now I'm gonna take a quick DBH. I mean, you can see the woodpeckers have been going at this thing for a long time. There's chips all on the ground. So this puppy has to come down. I'm gonna get the DBH and record it in my Excel spreadsheet, and I can route my contractor to it at some point in the near future. Okay, here we are at the next tree. It is a sugar maple. The homeowner requested me to come out and inspect it due to all of the deadwood branches that you can see that have fallen on the ground and broken. There's actually quite a few. However, the tree is not dead. It has plenty of buds on it. There is significant amounts of old deadwood in it, but the tree itself is not dead. You can come over here and actually see the buds on the end, and if we break it, it is it's green on the inside. If the camera will focus there. So if we come over to this side, it's a little bit lower. You can see all of the buds, and it indeed is green in there. So this tree, albeit the homeowner probably wants it fully removed, we are not going to be removing this tree. I will mark it down for pruning, both to take out the deadwood and to prune it back from their power lines that come out over here. You can see there are branches actively touching it, but we have a certain budget to adhere to each year, and we're not really taking down trees that don't actively need it. If we can just prune it and get away with pruning out the deadwood, then we will do that, and this tree is a perfect candidate for that. So I got to get the DBH, and then we can head on to the next job. So there are the bottom three that we have done. One I marked as complete because I met with the homeowner. The second one is the one that we just stumbled upon, remove the 25-inch maple. And the third is this one, deadwood prune maple and push back from house drop. Okay, we're at the next job here, or tree to inspect, and you can see the road there. The house that called it in is actually where my truck is parked, over across the street. And I'll show you in a minute, but from the street side, this tree looks totally fine. But if you zoom in, there's a huge decay pocket on the back side. And if you look up at the canopy, it might be hard to tell on video, the tree is alive, but it is leaning towards the road. So this is definitely a hazard. The light isn't doing me any favors here, but you'll have to believe me that there is a large decay pocket up there, about 30 feet up, I'd say, from the base of the tree. It is all rotten and hollow, and I would venture to bet that that continues to travel up the tree a good ways. So you can see the hollow decay pocket a little bit better from this side. There is evidence of insect and bird damage as far down as the total base of the tree. You can see all of these exit holes are, well, they're not exit holes actually, they are sap suckers. A bird going in and penetrating when they're in nice straight lines like that. They are all over the base of the tree, and they continue all the way down the bottom, going all the way around. You can see bark peeling off right here. So this tree is not long for this world. It is going to get marked for removal. The funny thing is, when you look at it from this side, there really isn't any decay pocket or, you know, really anything concerning looking at it from this side. But clearly, where that decay pocket is, right up about there, there used to be a large limb or branch that tore out. And if we walk back over here, you can actually see it laying right down on the ground right there. So if you look at that piece that tore out and match it up to that decay pocket, that kind of solves the problem. So you can see there's a long tear and a long tear going down. So this is the kind of thing that being a tree warden or an arborist entails on a day-to-day basis, is, you know, taking the feedback that you get from the public or, you know, a resident, a homeowner, and going out and kind of, you know, looking into it, because a lot of the time the public, the general public, doesn't know exactly what, you know, is a dead tree versus an alive tree, or they might call it a pine when it could be an oak. Because they're just simply not educated. So when I come out here, I have to take what every homeowner or you know, person that submits a service request, I have to take what they say with a grain of salt and come out with an open and clear mind and look and assess the tree as if it was the first time I was looking at it without having any prior knowledge. So this tree that we just looked at, clearly there was a big, you know, that piece probably broke off in a big windstorm, and the rest of the tree is still remaining standing, but because of the way that it broke off, the tree was never able to fully heal, and now it is compromised. And the rest of the remaining standing tree is leaning over the road towards the power lines, which could eventually lead to you know, somebody getting hurt, or it falling down in a future windstorm and blocking the road, potentially hitting a car, taking out the power, etc. So these are the types of things that I'm looking for when I go out doing these inspections. So that one is getting marked for removal. Hopefully these fuel prices come back down to earth pretty soon. I mean, they're not terrible, but $3.49 for diesel gets to be a lot when you're driving around doing this kind of stuff. Okay, so we're at the next one here, and this one, my contractor said that he was already here within the year, and I can see there's, you know, evidence of old cuts cutting back from the power lines. Apparently the homeowner or whoever submitted the service request requested more be done with these trees, and just based on a quick look here, I don't really see anything else that needs to be done. They're totally back from the power lines. You know, if the whole tree were to fall, that's a different story, but all of these trees appear healthy and alive. Yeah, there are some, you know, spars there you can see from, you know, previously damaged trees, but that is not really anything that, you know, I'm too concerned about. So once again, we're just gonna mark this as complete and mark it off our list, because nothing really needs to be done here. There is plenty of clearance for trucks. The minimum is 14 foot. We got plenty of height here, and there really isn't anything even remotely overhanging the power lines. So I think we should be good. We'll head over to the next one. Okay, so this one has clearly already been done. So I'd mark that as complete. Tree is down. We got evidence of an ash stump The work order said to inspect the large ash tree across from number 128, which 128 is right there. So I'd say we're good. So that's another thing I sometimes, encounter or find myself having to deal with because I am new at this position. I've only been doing it for the past 3 or 4 months. I'm kind of taking over somebody else's list of trees that have been reported the past couple of years. Because the town only has a certain budget and they have to adhere to that budget, not all of the tree work can get done that gets reported each year. So because of that, there's a list that, sometimes might have been accurate at one point, but other times people take it upon themselves. If the town doesn't come and do anything right away, sometimes they're just so worried about it that they'll hire a private contractor to come out and take the tree down. In which case, most of the time, no harm, no foul. If they want to do that, then that's their own prerogative. As long as it's not, some big icon or a staple tree, we don't really have a problem with that. This is somewhat of a rural town. A lot of people do this kind of work themselves, or they know somebody that'll do it. So if they're willing to take it down on their own dime and don't want to wait for the bureaucracy of the town and all the hoops and stuff that they have to jump through to get a tree taken down on the town's dime, then so be it. So this next tree that we're inspecting is this big pine. It's a large white pine. You can see it's big, 3 liter. It is behind a stone wall there. So that immediately indicates to me that it is likely private. A lot of these old stone walls, like you'll see up there, at least in Connecticut, are indicative of property markers. And a lot of the taxpayer maps and stuff like that, the GIS, go by these old stone walls. And they are written into, the plot maps and everything of the properties. And that is still a lot of the time what property markers go by. As you can see, there are stone walls pretty much all around me. So stone walls are a great indicator. They're super useful. And this white pine, albeit that one of the leaders is dead, it is behind the stone wall, so that would mean that it is not a town tree. I also double checked on our mapping system, the GIS, and it is not a town tree, so that is not a town responsibility. Now, an interesting fact, if that dead portion of the tree, or any portion of any tree for that matter, were to fall into the road, the town would assume the responsibility to clean up whatever fell into the road, and including the town right-of-ways to the left and the right, whatever those may be. Usually we'll just clear the road and kind of make it passable for emergency vehicles and the such. But if that dead part ever falls into the road, we will send out a crew to go and pick it up and open the roadway so that it is safe and passable for residents and emergency vehicles of the like. So guys, it may not look like it on camera, but it's actually starting to get dark enough where it's difficult to kind of tell and look at buds all the way, 60, 70, 80 foot up in the air to tell if a tree is alive or dead. So that's kind of where I draw the line. I would never want to make a, wrong inspection or, look at something and compromise my inspection due to low light conditions. So the last 2 stops we're actually not going to get to today. Sarah and I have somewhere to be, so I got to head home and hit the showers. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you kind of understand and it gave you a little insight into what a tree warden does. Like I said in the beginning of the video, not every town has a tree warden. It is a position that you have to have some sort of education or licensing for. There are tree warden, programs to get a tree warden's license. I do not specifically have a tree warden's license. I have an arborist license, which far supersedes all of the requirements of becoming a tree warden. An arborist license in Connecticut is, let's just put it this way, it's not all that easy to obtain. You have to pass several different exams and tests, and you really have to know your shit, for lack of a better term. So my arborist license more than qualifies me for this position, and being that I already work for a municipality full-time, my boss for this position, who would be the director of the Department of Public Works, was happy to bring me on board. And we have slowly been, developing the tree program here in our town, and we hope to, make the streets and the residents, a little bit safer by way of, damaged, disease, and dead trees. So if you are interested in this video, let me know down below, because this is something that I do on a pretty regular basis. And, being that I know a lot of my viewers are interested in trees and, do firewood and outdoorsy type things, I'd be happy to take you guys along on more of these little tree warden escapades that I go out and, inspect trees on a pretty, regular basis, almost weekly. So, as always, guys, if you like the video, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, click that subscribe button. But for now, I'm Jake. This is Dude Ranch DIY. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you here next time.